Today, let us learn about routes. Pay a little extra attention to this lesson because routes are at the very heart of your application. I'll go ahead and open app.js, our main JavaScript application file that is Node application file. We have included Express, HTTP, and the path. We have set the port to whatever is present inside the environment variable or else the 3000, and we are setting the view directory to our root directory slash a folder by name views. Also, our default view engine, that is template engine, is Jade in this case. Since we have set this port number, we get it and assign to the listen of our HTTP server. So let's get started by writing our first route. Before that, let me start our server and let's see what it will show if we access our home page. Cannot get slash, that is home, because we haven't set any route for our slash, that is home page. So app.get, first parameter is the route address, that is slash. The second parameter is an anonymous function. It takes 3 parameters. The last one, that is the next, will be discussed later on in some other videos. Using request and response objects, we will send, using response object, we will send a simple plain text to the browser. Once I save, the server restarts automatically since I'm using Node daemon module in our program. So if I access the root, it will show me hello visitor. So I'll copy this and paste and write a route for slash about, and I'll say about Satish, something like that, just for the sake of illustration. Now I'll go ahead and access slash about. But what if we access slash contact, which we haven't defined? It will say cannot get slash contact because it's not present. That is, we haven't defined that route yet. So all these kind of look static. What if we want to dynamically show some of the routes? So I'll show you an example here. If we have a path called user slash colon some usernames that the user requests. Say someone is requesting a profile of particular user. In this case, colon username is something which the user requests. So we could directly fetch that using request object dot params dot the username. I'll give profile, something like that. Remember, the first parameter for dot send, that is send method, is a number, that is status code. So I'm just giving double quotes, making sure it thinks it's something other than number, maybe a string. So this is kind of dynamic now. Whatever username I give, it just fetches it using request object and displays it to the user, making it look much more dynamic with least amount of code, by the way. Now we have a folder called public here. We have our images, JavaScript, style sheets, and some static files. I'll open some file.txt which has some content, that is, this is a file. Now if I want to open these static directory files, I need to use this middleware provided by Express. It's actually provided by connect module, which is already present inside Express. Express, one of its dependency is connect. So underscore directory name, which is root, and public is our public folder. So now if I access root slash file.txt, it will directly fetch this file out of my public folder. So this is what we have. This is a file. Now what if we want to override this? Well, let's experiment by writing a custom route for it. So the route would be slash file.txt and a callback function. In this case, I'll override and send, well, I'm not a file, or else something like that. I'm no more a file, not a file anymore, or like this, something like that. Something different from what is present inside the actual file.txt, which is present in the public directory. Now let me access. So this is a middleware which we'll talk about in our next video. So now access it. Well, still we have the same old text. We couldn't overwrite it. So to override it, we need to use another middleware and tell that you need to look at our custom routes before searching for the file in our public directory. So app.route will check all our custom routes first and then go for the public directory. So now refresh it and you'll see I'm not a file anymore. So this is how you override things present in public directory, and you will get the overridden method being executed. Well, let me remove this and make room for further. So not just plain text, you could even pass in some HTML content inside an array variable. I'll take some HTML content with some string in it, and let's see what if I pass this array object using send method to the browser. Well, in this case, with our all limited knowledge, it will just scatter this content of this array. In fact, actually full array itself. Okay, that's how it's printing out. But if you want it to render as proper HTML, just use .join. I'll introduce a new line character here after that. Now refresh and it will be rendered as proper HTML. Go to the source code and you will get all the source code present inside our array. So this is another method, another thing we could accomplish in our routes. So get rid of this. Now let's make a post request. Up to this we have only seen get request. Going forward, you write for put and delete requests. By the way, put is used for updating the data. Delete, however, its name suggests, it's used for deleting the data. I'll go ahead and create a form very quickly. The important things to note here is the input type's name is name itself, and it has a submit button. The action field we have /user, and its method is a post method. So that's it. Go to /users, set up this route now. Now to parse the content of our form, we need a middleware of Express, that is body parser. Now once we parse it, we can get the submitted content using request object request.body. The name present here in the input field, that is name in our case. So save it, go to the home page. Now I'll enter my name, submit. So submitted username is Satish. Now go back, submit some other names, and it will get submitted. So this is how we could use post in our routes. If you are using put and delete, you could get the user ID, get it using request.params.userid. Using this, you could fetch data from your database, edit it, update it, or delete it. For that, you may have to use a middleware called method override, because browsers by default only support get and post method. It doesn't support put and delete. So we could use method override and use put as well as delete in our routes. So simple as that. In our next video, we shall teach you how to make use of these routes in a little bit complex way for your advantage. Stay tuned for advanced routing in Express and Node.js. Please share this video with your friends on Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, Twitter, StumbleUpon, etc. Stay subscribed to technotip.com and don't forget to like this video on YouTube.